Hey everybody, welcome to Legacy Ranching. Now, over the next few minutes through this video, we want to show you how we were able to take our poverty ranch and turn it profitable within just the first year. Now, before we do that, I want to make sure we introduce ourselves. My name is Derek.
I'm Jess.
And we are the owners of the Crosso Ranch and Crosso Meats out here in Central Idaho. Now, over the past several years, guys, we have been able to take our direct-to-consumer business to multiple six figures per year without any background in this industry. Now, we want to show you how we were able to do that, but first, I want you guys to know a little bit of our backstory so that way you understand kind of how we got to where we are.
Yeah, so after Derek's dad passed away several years ago, we kind of reluctantly took over the family's ranch. We didn't want to see it be sold, but we also knew it couldn't continue the way that it had been doing it year after year after year. At the time, I was an executive at a credit union. Derek was a successful sales and marketing role. He was helping take a company from 0 to 100 million in assets in just under 3 years. We were kind of living the good life. We were, happy, doing our thing, but we felt obligated to take over. But it was kind of this money-sucking family ranch at the time. And, who wants to take over a life with poverty?
Well, and that was the biggest thing. When we made the decision to come back, and there's a whole other story, maybe we can share it another time, but we knew we wanted to live this lifestyle and we loved everything about it. I grew up on this ranch, but I also didn't want to be poor my entire life. And when we moved back, in fact, we were making the decision, and there's one thing that I told you about moving back. What was that?
Yeah, you was literally like, deal breaker. We're going to make this decision, but I refuse to go back and just be a poor rancher. Like, I'm not going to do it.
I grew up that way. And a lot of you looking at this video right now, watching us on this video, probably you can relate to that. Maybe you grew up on a ranch or a farm and you were poor. And if you weren't, especially a part of one of the big, huge places, right? Mm-hmm. And so growing up that way, I knew when we came back that we couldn't just keep doing this cow-calf operation to where you might have a decent year and then you might have 4 years of not having any money. So we knew that we had to make changes. And that's where we decided that we were going to go direct to the consumer. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a ton of questions that we had when we first started, and we told you we want to show you how we were able to do that. And I think a lot of that kind of comes down to these questions that we want to address. So what were some of the questions that we had?
Well, the first one was just, will this work for me? I mean, how am I going to do this? Will this work for me?
Okay, so let me ask you a question, though. Did we have any background in selling anything direct to consumer?
No, absolutely not.
How many cows did we actually have?
Oh, very few, under 10.
Yeah. And
long story, stepmom sold them all, long story. We'll tell you that later.
Yeah. So when we moved back, my stepmom had sold all of my dad's cows at that point. So we were starting from ground zero. So maybe you're somebody, maybe you're somebody who's like, well, I don't have this big herd, or maybe I do have a herd, but I've never done this. Mm-hmm. Guys, we've been through it all. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we know that because we had to start at literally ground zero with this business, we can help you even if you are at the very bottom. Even if you are somebody who's currently doing it, but you can't reach that next level, we can help you there also. Yep. But we don't want you to be worried about, oh, I don't have a big enough herd. I haven't been in the industry long enough. Guys, we want to be able to help you, and we've gone through those questions. What's another question that we had?
Well, I think the biggest thing was just how this was going to work for me, right? Like, again, we've always had done the cow-calf model. Getting into this new piece, it was just, how was this going to work?
So the way that this will work is we would be taking you through a step-by-step process. Okay, this is something that over the past 5 to 6 years, we've gone through and figured out all the ways that you could possibly do it wrong. Yes. Everything from, do we want it USDA or non-USDA? I mean, we could go through all of that stuff, and we will. But the reality is, guys, is that we have built a step-by-step model that will take you through and make it go straight from A to B, whereas we were all over the place. Yeah. So whether or not you feel like this will work for you, we already know it will, because we've gone through and we've built the systems. Yep. What's another question?
Okay, the other big one we get all the time is the tech side of things. Yes. Obviously, farmers, ranchers, anybody who's growing things with their hands, you're amazing at that part of it. And you know nutrition and you know cattle health and those type of things. But it's the tech side. It's the email, the website, all of that stuff. How in the world are we going to be able to help them with that?
So if you know anything about me, you would know I am not a tech person. I don't have a college degree. I never even made it past like my first year in college. So plus, if you have a mustache like this, you can't be that smart. So if I can figure it out, anybody can. And also when it comes to the tech side of this, just understand that we have the right systems in place to be able to, again, walk you through this step by step by step. understand also on the tech side of it is that this stuff isn't rocket science, but there is a science to it. That's why we're doing this, is to be able to help you. You might also be asking on the tech side, I don't have a huge Instagram following. Well, guess what? We don't either.
Started with 0.
Yeah, I don't have a big email list. Guess what? We didn't
0.
either. So all of these things, when it comes to the tech side, number one, understand we are, in 2025 right now. So you gotta play the game, but at the same time, you don't have to be an expert. We've got that handled. We'll be able to help you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So the last one that we do get people that ask us sometimes is they just want to know, why are we going to help them do the same thing we're doing and just create competition for ourselves?
Yeah. So number one, if you look into it, the beef industry is $1 billion plus business, right? Billions and billions of dollars. So first off, there's more than enough for everyone to go around. But secondly, if you look at some of the statistics that are coming out, we are losing our ranches and farms. We're losing them. And why is that? Well, if you're a rancher or a farmer and you have a couple thousand acres and someone's going to come and give you $10 million to buy it, of course you would sell it because you're not making any money. And as we continue down this path, guys, everybody in this industry is getting away from it. The average rancher I saw is over 60 years old, and that just isn't sustainable for our country. Secondly, what is more fulfilling than you being able to be out there with your animals or with your crops and be able to do what it is that you love? But that one component that, again, no one in this industry wants to talk about always comes back up, which is the money, right? And so if we can help you, we can help you get that money and be able to make the amount of money that would take care of you and your family and allow you to have a ranch or a farm that can become a legacy for you. That's exactly what we want to do. We knew that we wouldn't be able to pass on our ranch to our kids if we didn't figure out a different way to run it. Our ranch has gone from 23,000 acres and continuously down and down and down because we simply weren't making the amount of money to hold on to it. Some of you out there right now, I'm sure you understand this as much as we do, that stuff isn't sustainable. So we are going to be able to not only help you, we're going to be able to hopefully help you create a legacy in doing so. Yeah. That's why we're willing to create our own competition. At the end of the day, guys, we're not competing. We're all in this thing together. Definitely. So I guess at this point, if they've liked anything, maybe they learned something, maybe it's hit a nerve, what do they need to do?
Yeah, if anything's kind of, been something that stood out to you, we would love to talk to you more. Right below this video, there's going to be a button where you can click to set up a call. Excuse me. You're also going to be in there to be asked a couple questions. Those are just for us to get to know you a little bit more, to be able to know, where you're at in your operation, kind of what things you're working with. And then there'll be a spot where you can actually schedule that call. You'll be able to pick whatever time works for you. You'll get on the call with Derek. So it won't be anybody else. It'll just be him specifically. And you guys can just chat a little bit more and see if that'd be something that would work. And hopefully we can work together.
Guys, we would love the opportunity to be able to help you out because we understand how important it is to keep family farms and ranches going. And the reality is, as well as I do, that if we continue going in this path, there won't be any of us left. Yeah. We have to make changes. Now is as good a time as any. COVID really changed a lot of things with people wanting to know where their food comes from. And so this is a great opportunity for you to be able to take whatever it is that you're doing. I don't care if it's beef or pork or chicken or crops or whatever it is, and be able to go around the big corporations, go around the big businesses, and go straight to the people that actually want to buy from you. Yep. We'll be able to help you do that. So make sure you click the button and we'll talk really soon.
Looking forward to it.